Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten why you went in there? Or maybe you found yourself staring at the TV remote, trying to remember what channel you were just watching? You're not alone. It happens to all of us. Little slips of memory that start to feel more frequent as the years go by. But here's the thing. Memory isn't something you simply lose as you age. It's more like a muscle. It needs exercise, attention, and the right kind of care. Now, I know people like to say, well, I'm just getting old, that's all, and shrug it off. But what if I told you that your memory can actually improve after 70? Not just stay the same, not just slow the decline, but truly sharpen and get stronger. And it doesn't require some complicated routine or expensive supplement. In fact, it comes down to something incredibly simple. Something you can start doing today. And do you know what the best part is? It's enjoyable, it's natural, and it fits right into your daily life. You see, the mind loves patterns. It thrives on structure, stories, emotions, and novelty. Just like the body needs movement, the brain needs activity that sparks joy, curiosity, and a sense of purpose. So, in this video, we're going to talk about a daily practice that supports exactly that. Something that research shows can light up your brain, keep your memory sharp, and even lift your mood along the way. Let's begin with something that may surprise you, talking to yourself. Yes, you heard that right. It might sound a little odd at first, but having regular conversations with yourself, whether out loud or silently in your head, can actually train your memory. When you verbalize your thoughts, when you narrate what you're doing, or even explain something to an imaginary audience, you're strengthening the neural connections that support recall. Think of it this way. When you're cooking dinner and saying, okay, now I need to grab the carrots, chop them, and put them in the pot, you're actively organizing your thoughts. Your brain has to work to hold on to those steps. And that's exactly what memory training is. You're turning what could be an automatic action into a mini exercise session for your brain. And you don't need to be theatrical about it. Just a gentle whisper or internal narration does the job. It also helps anchor you in the present moment, which supports focus and mental clarity. Another practice that blends beautifully with this is storytelling. Not to an audience, necessarily, though that's a wonderful option if you have grandchildren or friends to share with, but even just telling your own stories to yourself. Every day, take 5 minutes, maybe while you're having your morning coffee or taking a walk, to recall a moment from your past. Maybe it's that road trip in 1972, or the way your father used to whistle while fixing the sink. Picture in detail. Smell the scents. Remember the weather, the color of the wallpaper, the sound of voices. The more senses you bring into the memory, the more powerful the effect. This isn't just reminiscing. It's exercise for the hippocampus, the part of your brain that forms and stores memories. And the more you do it, the more agile that part of your brain becomes. You'll start to notice names coming to you quicker, appointments sticking in your head a little longer, and that familiar fog lifting just a bit. Now let's shift into something physical, but not in the way you might expect. I'm talking about walking, yes, but not just any walking. Mindful walking. Here's what I mean. Instead of going on autopilot, as many of us do, try focusing your attention on each step. Feel the soles of your feet against the ground. Notice the rhythm of your stride. Observe the sounds around you, the birds, the wind, maybe a neighbor's dog barking in the distance. While you walk, try to a mental scan. Name 5 things you see, for things you hear, 3 things you can touch or feel. It sounds simple, but this kind of mindful attention boosts both working memory and attention span. It brings you into the present moment, pulling your brain out of that lazy drift mode and into sharper awareness. And here's the bonus. This kind of walk also reduces stress, which is one of memory's biggest enemies. When we're stressed, the body floods itself with cortisol. And over time, that hormone can shrink the memory center of the brain. But just 20 minutes of gentle, focused walking can bring those levels down and create a more memory-friendly environment in your brain. You don't have to hike up a mountain. Just a stroll around a block, or even laps in your garden, will do. Let's add one more simple tool to your daily routine that works hand in hand with everything we've talked about. Reading aloud. Yes, aloud. Pick a book, a poem, even a newspaper article, and read it out loud for 10 minutes a day. This combines visual recognition, vocalization, and comprehension, all key ingredients in memory formation. It also helps your brain stay engaged with language, which is crucial as we age. Plus, you might even enjoy the sound of your own voice telling a beautiful story. Don't worry if you stumble or mispronounce a word. That's part of the challenge your brain enjoys. It learns and strengthens through effort, not perfection. Think of it like lifting a small weight every day. Steady repetition builds strength, and over time, you'll see the difference. So whether it's talking to yourself while tidying up, vividly remembering a summer picnic from years ago, strolling to the park with purpose, or reading a few pages aloud at night, these little habits begin to add up. They aren't magic tricks, but they're close. Because what they really do is remind your brain that it's still growing, still learning, still vibrant. And now that we've warmed up the mind and the body, let's keep this momentum going. Because the next daily habit has surprising power to refresh your memory like a splash of cold water on a sleepy face. It's something you might not have done in a while, or maybe you do it without realizing how valuable it truly is, learning something new every single day. Now, I'm not talking about signing up for night classes or diving into dense textbooks. No, I mean learning in a way that feels playful, enjoyable, and light. One new word, one unfamiliar fact, one foreign phrase. Your brain lights up like a child discovering something for the first time when you take in new information. And when that happens daily, you're literally rewiring your mind to stay young. Think about how it felt the first time you learned to use a smartphone. Confusing? Maybe. Frustrating? Sure. But once you figured it out, didn't you feel a little spark of victory? That spark is growth. And that growth keeps your memory active. It might be a new recipe, a trick for your garden, a piece of trivia about a country you've never visited. What matters is the freshness of the experience. One woman I spoke to started learning the names of birds in her neighborhood. Each morning, she'd take her tea by the window, binoculars in hand, and pick one new bird to look up. Within months, not only did she recognize their songs and colors, but her memory for names and faces also sharpened. Why? Because her brain was stretching beyond routine. And that's the trick. Memory thrives on gentle, consistent stretching. But what really seals the deal is pairing this with another powerful daily habit: writing things down by hand. Yes, pen and paper. Not a phone, not a tablet, your actual handwriting. There's something magical about the act of writing. It forces your brain to slow down, organize thoughts, and anchor information more deeply than typing ever could. Every evening, take just 5 minutes to jot down a few thoughts. Maybe something you learned that day, a memory that popped up, a funny moment you don't want to forget, a word that caught your attention. You don't need to write perfectly. It's not for anyone else. It's for your brain. This process not only helps you remember what you write, but also strengthens your ability to recall other things more quickly. And here's something you might notice after a few days. Your dreams may become clearer, your thoughts more organized. The grocery list in your head feels easier to recall without reaching for a note. That's because your brain is practicing retrieval, one of memory's most essential skills. There's a reason some of the sharpest people in their 80s and 90s keep notebooks. Not because they're forgetful, but because they're intentional. They understand that memory isn't about keeping it all in. It's about practicing how to pull it out when you need it. Now, let's bring it all together with something incredibly simple and incredibly overlooked: hydration. Yes, water. You probably heard it 1,000 times before, but here's the truth. Your brain is made up of nearly 75% water. And when you're even mildly dehydrated, your ability to focus, recall, and think clearly takes a hit. Imagine your brain like a sponge. When it's dry, it's stiff, slow, and hard to work with. But when it's hydrated, it becomes flexible, absorbent, and full of life. And yet, many people over 70 don't feel thirst as strongly anymore, which means they often go hours without a single sip. So here's a gentle habit that makes a world of difference. Drink a glass of water with every meal, and another mid-morning and mid-afternoon. Set a little reminder if you have to, or keep a favorite cup or bottle nearby as a visual cue. It's not just for your physical health. Your memory depends on it. Some studies have shown that even a 2% drop in hydration levels can impair short-term memory and attention span. 2%. That's just one missed glass of water. So imagine the boost your brain gets when you're regularly fueling it with what it needs. Now, I know all of this might sound simple, too simple, maybe, but that's exactly the point. You don't need massive changes or complicated tricks. What your brain craves is steady, meaningful effort, a bit of self-talk here, a walk there, a new word in the morning, a short handwritten note at night, a sip of water between them. These small steps, done daily, form a rhythm, a routine your brain can rely on. And just like with music or dancing, once you find your rhythm, everything begins to flow. Memory becomes smoother, focus sharpens, words come a little easier. And with that, a greater sense of confidence returns. Not the kind that boasts or brags, but the quiet kind. The kind that lets you smile when you remember someone's name or find your keys right where you left them. You don't need to be a genius to have a strong memory. You just need to treat it with care, with kindness, and with consistency. And the beauty of these habits is that they're not only good for your mind, they're also good for your spirit. They give your day a little more shape, a little more joy, and a little more light. So let's keep going. There's still one more essential piece that ties all of this together. And that final piece is something we all need at every age, but often don't give ourselves permission to enjoy fully: stillness. Now, I don't mean sitting in front of the TV or dozing off in a chair, although those have their place too. I'm talking about intentional stillness, just 5 or 10 minutes a day where you give your mind a break from everything. No screens, no conversations, no background noise. Just quiet, a breath, a pause. Because here's something remarkable. Your brain does some of its best work when you're doing nothing. That's when it files memories, makes connections, and clears out mental clutter. You know how a good night's sleep makes things feel less jumbled in the morning? Intentional stillness is like a mini version of that. A reset button for your brain, right in the middle of your day. One way to ease into this is through gentle breathing. Just sit comfortably, close your eyes if you like, and take 5 slow, deep breaths. Let your shoulders relax. Let your thoughts pass by like clouds. Acknowledge them, but don't chase them. This isn't about meditation with rules and rituals. It's just about giving your mind some peace. You might notice, after just a few days, that you're thinking more clearly. You remember where you put that envelope. A name that was stuck on the tip of your tongue finally comes to you. That's not coincidence. It's your brain saying, thank you for the space. Stillness also reduces stress hormones. Remember cortisol, that memory-blocking chemical we talked about? A few minutes of quiet breathing a day can lower those levels significantly, giving your brain a better environment to thrive in. And there's something deeply nourishing about taking time just to be. No agenda, no performance. Just you, exactly as you are. That simple act is a gift to your mind, body, and memory. Now, if we take a step back and look at everything we've talked about, what do we really see? We see a rhythm, a gentle daily pattern that supports your memory not with effort, but with ease. Speaking your thoughts aloud helps organize and strengthen your recall. Telling your stories makes your memories vivid and keeps the past alive and accessible. Mindful walking and reading aloud keep your mind and body alert. Learning something new and writing it down by hand adds spark and clarity. Drinking water nourishes the very structure of your brain, and stillness allows it all to settle, to make sense, to last. This isn't about becoming someone different. It's about returning to your most present, most alive self. It's about honoring your mind as something that's still growing, still learning, still absolutely capable. And if anyone tells you that memory only gets worse with age, let them talk, because you'll be living proof that they're wrong. You'll be the one remembering names again, finishing your stories with ease, feeling sharp and steady when you wake up. You'll feel that quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't shout, but smiles. And if a day comes when you do forget something, because let's be honest, that still happens to all of us, you'll be able to say, that's okay. I know how to care for my memory. I know how to keep it strong. Because now you've got the tools. So if today is the day you decide to start, you don't need to wait for the perfect moment. Just pick one habit, just one. Speak out loud while you tidy up. Take a mindful walk. Write a few lines in a notebook. Drink a glass of water. Any of it is a perfect beginning. And from there, the rest will come naturally. Remember, aging doesn't mean fading. It means ripening, deepening, becoming more of who you are. And a strong memory is part of that journey. So here's to you, right here, right now, for showing up, for being curious, for believing that change is possible at any age. If this video gave you a helpful nudge, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments. Maybe tell us which habit you can try first, or what's worked for you. Let's learn from each other. And if you like more encouraging tips just like this, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got more to explore together, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Until next time, be gentle with yourself, stay curious, and keep growing, because your best days don't stop after 70. In many ways, they're just getting started. Here's to living with clarity, joy, and purpose at every age.